Well, hello and welcome to Monday's edition of Movie News here at MBE. Thank you for joining us. We all hope you had a lovely weekend, all during lockdown again.
Yes.
We certainly did, with all the rain we had on Saturday. Not too bad yesterday, John.
Yeah, I get bumped to hell, Stephen. As you've seen with that last show, if you watched that last little video,
Yeah.
not a pretty sight. I'm going for a Ramesses 10 Commandments tan, and I'm feeling miserable just now, Stephen, but plenty of time. I'm sure you'll have more sun.
You'll soldier on, I'm
I
sure
want to
you
be
will.
like Yul Brynner, that's what I'm saying. I love that man.
You're halfway there,
He's
John.
a great actor. I love that guy. He was magnificent.
Yeah, listen, we're going to crack on anyway. Spike Lee's Vietnam film is the movie for right now. Now, John, this is coming in from learningenglish.voanews.com.
Yes.
I'm not too familiar with this website, but this story was actually trending earlier today. And just to give you a sort of lowdown of what the film is about, the original story had the four veterans returning to Vietnam to find buried gold.
Yeah.
In Lee's version, they're looking for gold as well, but they are also looking for something else, the body of their beloved army group leader, Stormin' Norman, good name, actor Chadwick Boseman, playing Stormin' Norman in Lee's film. Film lovers will notice references to other films as well. I thought this was quite interesting, such as Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now. It is at a place named Apocalypse Now in Vietnam that the four veterans have drinks one night before going into the jungle. Now, John,
I love there's a cafe or a bar in Vietnam called Apocalypse Now.
It's pretty cool.
That's
but
the power.
This intrigued me to obviously read the synopsis of the film and find out if we were actually getting it on UK Netflix. Thankfully we are. It only came on, dropped I think yesterday, Sunday that is. And I'm going to actually watch this on Wednesday. I won't be doing the live show with yourself on Wednesday anyway, John, so that'll give me a bit of time to catch up with this film. I certainly do want to see it. Delroy Lindo is, I think he's the main actor in it. He's certainly the one that's on the thumbnail.
It's supposed to be magnificent, Steve.
Yeah, so
magnificent.
I'm looking forward to it, John. What I like about this, they're going to be... I think it's going to be set in the present day, and it's going to be doing the flashbacks, obviously, in the 1960s. So what's your take on this, John? Because I didn't even know about this film. Now, normally when a Spike Lee movie comes out, or is coming out, you kind of hear about it. I didn't know anything about this film.
Stephen, I'm very excited for it. I love Spike Lee. I think he's a great guy off the screen, behind the screen, and just as a man in general. I love his vibe, the guy, the clothes he wears and stuff like that. The clothes he wore, what does that even mean? Past tense and present tense? No. The clothes he wears, he's just a cool guy. He's older, but he's youthful. And I think that shines through his movies. His movies have got a certain spirit to them, a certain aesthetic appeal. It's the same with this. I seen the trailer. It came out maybe 2 weeks back. I think that's usually what Netflix do. They drop trailers fairly close to the movie's release, impending release on the service. And I was intrigued by the trailers. It was an interesting concept. Every time you get this guy involved in a movie, I'm intrigued anyway. But the cast, you mentioned it, Delroy Lindo, I think the guy's name is. He's supposed to be absolutely magnificent in this. A stellar performance. People are already calling for him to win an Oscar for his performance. Stephen, I actually seen it. It was on at the corner of the eye. My father was actually watching it yesterday. He likes to watch things on Netflix. I wasn't really paying attention. I was engrossed in a game I was playing on my iPad, determined to beat a certain score, as you do. But I was looking at little bits of it at the corner of my eye, and I was very intrigued by what I seen. Lots of flashbacks, lots of neat shots, swooping overhead shots of the, I want to say, jungle, and it's like a river they're going down. It was very much like Apocalypse Now. I don't know if the music, it's been a while since I've seen Apocalypse Now. I'm not sure if that's taken straight from that. But it was very, very cool. It looked neat. Yeah. And I liked the way he was handling, just from the short little bits I've seen of it. I'm going to watch it in full, like yourself, because we are planning on reviewing it.
Yeah, well, that's what's interesting, John. We're talking about this film before we see it, and what we've picked up, obviously, from this article, as you said, the trailer. And one of the other things I picked up as well was that, Spike Lee's decided not to age or de-age the main cast. He's going to keep them as they were, because he really wants to capture the emotion, the close-up shots of, what they went through, and recalling what they went through as well. Now, it also says here that, Spike Lee made a major change to the original The Five Bloods story. It was written by Danny Bilson and Paul DeMeo. Lee and writer Kevin Wilmot changed the Vietnam veterans to be African American. Lee wanted to make a Vietnam film that had not been made yet.
So the original story wasn't actually African American soldiers?
I don't think so, John. Not
intriguing.
According to this article, anyway.
Cool.
But so it's one in which African American soldiers were the main story, not just a side story. So
great.
Again, that's what appeals to me.
And it's why the headline's right, Stephen, when it says this is a movie for right now. Yeah. Because I've been watching with great interest in the whole George Floyd thing and what's been happening with Black Lives Matter, the protests, the uprising, just this general swell of enthusiasm for equality throughout the world, not just in the States, here as well. I mean, we do have our issues in the UK. There's no two ways about it.
No.
We're a little bit more sleek over here, I feel. The racist contingent in this country, it's a little bit more under the surface, whereas in the US they just don't seem to care. They're slightly more immature. Sorry about that. I mean, in terms of the actual country, it's still a very young country. It's still got teething problems. The wisdom teeth are still, the metaphorical wisdom teeth are still coming out, as you would say. But I've been watching it with great interest, and I like what he's doing with this, the way he's changing up with African American characters, showing that these guys actually were involved in the wars. And I think, it shouldn't be overlooked by anyone with sense. But there was lots of African American people involved in World War I, World War II, Vietnam, I presume the Korean Wars as well, fighting for freedoms which they themselves never got when they came back home. They were treated like dogs in the street. Everyone seemed to be treated like dogs in the street from the Vietnam War in terms of the veterans. We've seen that in Rambo, obviously a fictionalised version. He came back, he wasn't treated with respect, he ends up breaking, snapping. So I find that very intriguing because we've seen that in real life happen, people getting treated like absolute crap, and he's right, it's never really been represented on the screen up until this point, and I feel like he's the perfect director to do this, to represent these guys and get the story right. What he says about the actual flashbacks, very intriguing. The fact that he hasn't used CGI, he's got these guys in their older state, living and breathing these nightmarish sort of things going on. What's going on here is not on the screen. I hope it's live, Stephen. It's saying excellent connection, so I sincerely hope it is live. Should be. If it's not, I'll be talking to nobody, but I'll finish my point anyway. Basically, the way that they're living, breathing it through their current selves, and it's almost more powerful because it's an older individual who's, you're seeing the shock, the terror and whatnot of reliving being in this environment once again. Going to go off on a real tangent here briefly. As I did say, watching it with great interest, what's been happening over in the States. Shannon Sharp, really powerful stuff been coming out of this man's name. Not a lot of people, a mouth I should say, not a lot of people over here will probably know who he is. Linebacker, ex-linebacker, Hall of Fame, NFL player. Yeah. Played for the Denver Broncos, I want to say. He's been saying some powerful stuff, and he again reiterated what the core theme of this movie is, that I think it was Drew Brees came out, a quarterback over there, and made a remark about disrespecting the flag, and he says, look, the flag doesn't mean the same for everybody over here. No. We have had people in our ancestors fighting in wars, and as I did say, for freedoms that they themselves don't get when they come back to the country. So I feel like it's a really important message and a powerful theme that has to be portrayed through this film, the art of film, and everybody should be watching it. Even ignorant, backward, racist people should be watching it because it's.
I think so, John.
It's a key movie. I've been talking the whole time. I've not once had the graphic up. God damn you.
That's okay, because I'm about to move on to the next topic, John. So
I can't wait for it, though, Steve. I'm looking very much forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, when this was trending earlier today, John, I just had to. We were private, but I've set it. It's okay. It's published now, so it's okay. People can watch it in the playback. But listen, John, we're going to move on to our next article. We will be doing a review of this, as you said, on Friday, John, so I'm very much looking forward to watching the film this Wednesday, and then obviously gathering our thoughts for Friday's show, which will be live, so tune in for that, folks. Wonder Woman 1984, will the movie's release date get pushed to Thanksgiving? Now, John, this is a really tough one because I'm going to have to read this out, because this movie has been shifted about so much I can't even make head nor tail of it without reading this article. So this is coming in from cheatsheet.com, and they say Wonder Woman 1984 has faced a tremendously rocky road on its way to theatres. The movie, which follows 2017's breakout hit, was originally set to debut in December 2019. Then it was briefly moved up to November before Warner Brothers finally staked out June 5th, 2020. Of course, that was before the coronavirus pandemic changed everything.
Damn you.
As a result of that public health crisis, movie theatres were closed and Wonder Woman 1984 was pushed to August 14th, 2020. But Christopher Nolan's Tenet, another Warner Brothers release, moved from mid-July to July 31st. To make room, the release of Wonder Woman 1984 shifted yet again to October 2nd, 2020. The movie is among this year's most anticipated movies, and at this point fans just want to know when they can finally check it out. It was actually announced on Wonder Woman film account on Twitter, John.
Yes, they've announced the 2nd of October.
Yeah, so that's about 4 times.
But there's a button
June
there.
Yeah, is it June?
It was originally supposed to come out, and then they've announced it for the 2nd of October 2020, but there's a bit of confusion because the studio actually released additional images with November, I think 25th, which is Thanksgiving 2020, subsequently deleted them. So what they're suggesting in this article is there's either been a bit of toing and froing, a tug of war between those two dates, or that they have finally landed on the 2nd of October, or that we may indeed be having another delay on the cards.
I'm actually starting to forget about Patty Jenkins' tweet all those years ago. The one which I think it was the first sort of promotion film photograph of Gal Gadot as obviously Wonder Woman, and it was a very colourful shot. And this was to announce obviously the film was coming very, very soon. For such a big film, I understand, they want to make sure they get this right. It's unfortunate, obviously, that Tenet,
it's
quite
the bigger
right,
release.
Yeah, but it has to.
Some.
It has to, John. We talked about this on Friday.
Yeah, I think we should maybe embellish on that tonight,
I think so,
Stephen,
because obviously
we
the
didn't
sound
do it justice.
issues. Yeah, we were only talking about it for 5 minutes, but it did drop during our main show, our main review, I think it was on Friday. And yeah, we talked about the reasons for it. At first I couldn't get my head around it, but you made a very good point, John, that a film such anticipated as Christopher Nolan's Tenet, it's not the type of film you want to put on the first day of the the theatres opening their doors for the very first time in 4 months. So I think it's a wise thing. I also like what they're doing. They're bringing what's the film called, the Chris Nolan one,
Inception.
Inception.
Yeah,
they're
the
going
original release date.
Yeah, it's going to be the 10-year anniversary. So it's a nice little tie-in, and also if it happens over here, it will give us an opportunity to go and see that film. I missed it the first time round, unfortunately.
And
so
it's a great film.
If it's going to have maybe a 2-week run in the cinema, and obviously our cinemas are opened, because we're a little bit different from the rest of obviously UK at the moment. So
might have to get into England to watch it.
So we might have to, John. But listen, it's probably worth it, isn't it?
Yeah, I've had the virus, Stephen. I'm a selfish git. At the end of the day, I'm not going to get it again. I hope. Most are suggesting that 6 months to 2 years, you're not going to get the virus again if you've already had it. So being selfish, I'll be front and centre in the theatre watching this movie. But you're right, Stephen, I think it's just a little bit of having your cake and eat it from Christopher Nolan here with the delay of Tenet. He gets to delay it 2 weeks. The anticipation builds even more. It's a safer environment, hopefully, tried and tested space for people who were maybe sort of wavering on whether to go back and watch it or not. 2 weeks passes, they see, look, it's all right, people are coming and going, it's a safe environment, we can now go and watch it. More bums on seats, more money for Warner Brothers. $300 million budget, they have to make back the money. They are banking everything on this being the sort of movie that saves the box office for 2020. I think it will be, personally, because Chris Nolan knows how to make a goddamn great event movie every time he releases it. He's the Daniel Day-Lewis of movies, or directing, I should say.
Yeah.
Daniel Day-Lewis is the Daniel Day-Lewis of movies. Him and sort of Tarantino, they leave big, huge gaps, 4 or 5 year gaps between each of their releases, and the anticipation builds on what are they bringing this time, what is it going to interconnect with an Inception, because that is the talk that this could be a cousin of Inception, and that's why I find it so intriguing. I tried to say it on Friday night, I'll try and say it now, hopefully the audio's fine. I think this will be interconnected. I think it will be revealed in some way that this is a sort of distant relative within the same universe as Inception, and that's why they are releasing that first as a sort of double matinee, and then you can go along and watch, and you'll feel once you watch it that your experience has been all the more enriched because it is living in the same world. But look, Patty Jenkins, Man to see what John David Washington and Robert Pattinson was
John,
doing.
I can't wait to see what Patty Jenkins did with this film.
Absolutely.
I loved the first Wonder Woman film. It is just slightly behind Man of Steel for me in the DCEU.
Yes.
Third in that place would obviously be Aquaman for me. But,
Shazam.
yeah, possibly. You know, it's probably
Aquaman was good as well.
between both. But yeah, Wonder Woman's just in behind Man of Steel for me. Man of Steel's going to be number one for me for a very long time. I did actually watch the Justice League again yesterday on Netflix. Don't ask me why. I
Probably the Superman sequence.
the Superman sequence, obviously with the Flash. You know, that alone was worth it. But well, maybe not. But it was a really good scene. But yeah, I really just want to see. I really want to see what they're doing with the Chris Pine character. I really want to understand what's happening there.
Steve.
Yeah, Steve. You know, and who is this guy? Is it Steve? Has it been confirmed it's Steve?
I think it is, yeah.
It's the flashbacks. Don't know.
Because he's a man out of time. It was heavily hinted in the trailer that this was a man who was out of time. Didn't know what was going on. He had to be updated. He was looking at bins and saying, "Is this a piece of art?" She's like, "No, that's just a trash can." Yeah, I don't know how they're going to handle that, but Chris Pine's such a good actor, and he really did do a great job of bouncing off of Gal Gadot. As I've said many times, I feel like he almost mentored her along with Patty Jenkins.
Yeah.
Not the greatest actor in the world is Gal Gadot. She's perfect for Wonder Woman. She's a great Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I love her spirit and enthusiasm and trying to appease the fans and bulking up and giving us the best possible version of a character. But she's not a great actor, nonetheless. And I feel like it's a deliberate decision from Patty Jenkins to bring in someone of the calibre of Chris Pine, a great actor, to just guide her and maybe get a better performance out of her. Stephen, in regards to this movie, if you're going to find out about that before we perhaps move on, I don't know if you're ready to move on.
Yes.
Is that this movie was in the can about a year and a half ago. It was done. Patty Jenkins wasn't happy about it being delayed. She wanted it released last year. It was delayed. Now the coronavirus is hit. It's getting like Gambit. It's never going to come. I don't think
At least it's in the can.
Exactly. The new mutants is perhaps a better comparison. Is it ever going to happen? Just get delayed and delayed and delayed. When it does happen, I cannot wait to go along and watch it. I'm the same as you. Probably second best DC movie ever for me. Just because I'm a big fan of Superman.
Yeah.
That's why it comes in.
We're going to move on anyway, John, to the MCU now. It's James Gunn. He says he wouldn't direct an Avengers movie, even if Marvel asked him to, so I assume they haven't. You know, but this is a kind of reflection, obviously, of Patty Jenkins, who we were talking about a few months ago. Said that she would never. She wouldn't do a Justice League film, so it kind of mirrors that, John. It's actually there's not much to read into this, but there is a few little pieces of information that make this interesting. Now, I'll just obviously focus on the headline first.
Yes.
In a recent Instagram story, Gunn responded to a fan asking if he would direct an Avengers movie in the future. Gunn responded, "I haven't been asked, but I wouldn't do it if I was." Very blunt from James Gunn, but he's a very blunt guy. Now, the reason I bring this up is because he has confirmed that he has no plans or no intentions of directing a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 4, which kind of suggests to me that he might be done with Marvel in the sense of directing. Now, I say that because you actually made a very good point in regards to the position of Kevin Feige and his ambitions with perhaps moving over to Lucasfilm and sort of steadying the ship over there, which would leave obviously his spot vacant. And James Gunn would certainly be one of the contenders to take over his role.
Well, Stephen, it's so far away. When you actually look at the dates, he's still miles upon miles away from actually starting. Well, it's not miles upon miles, it's maybe a year away from starting the shooting of Guardians. And then when you look at the release slots and whatnot, then it's going to be about 3 years.
Yep.
So there's a long, long time. I feel like if Kevin Feige isn't actually eyeing the Lucasfilm gig, and it's perhaps been reserved for Jon Favreau, he's perhaps eyeing maybe long term either the Alan Horn or maybe Bob Iger. I know someone else stepped in for Bob Iger, but he would disposed of if Kevin Feige wants it. Let's be honest. It's a Bob something Bob. I don't know what his actual name is. Yeah, but if he's not eyeing that, then perhaps that slot in Disney, then that would maybe free up the position. I know he's just recently took the head of all things Marvel, but look, 2-3 years is an eternity in this game. And he maybe wants to move on to something else. The guy is multitasking so many different movies and projects. It must be well known. It has to be. I know he's near nigh on immortal in the producing circles, but must be well on the guy. So after 3-4 years, perhaps you look to move on. Maybe James Gunn will step in, because this is when we'll cosmic phase 4. This new saga will be Celestial, Eternals, and perhaps Adam Warlock and maybe other things going on in the background. Galactus, I think it's Galactus.
Yeah.
This guy is honed his craft really in the MCU with the cosmic side of things, just dipping into other little things within the Guardian stories, like of Ego and whatnot. Huge, big sort of towering planetary antagonistic figures. So I think if he was to perhaps take over the role of maybe Kevin Feige in 3-4 years, maybe his specific set of talents, I'm thinking about Liam Neeson there, a very specific set of skills,
yeah,
or maybe better blended, yeah, I'll find you and I will kill you. Or maybe, and I know an Irish accent, he's maybe playing an American, they're better blended perhaps to this new saga. I'm not saying Kevin Feige's done, man, I'm just a speculation. And look, I don't think he would be suited to doing a sort of Avengers movie. I don't even know if the Avengers are coming back ever again. I think if the heart's so ripped out with them with the likes of Iron Man and Captain America.
I think it depends on how this phase will be received, really. You know, I think
we could bring back Iron Man.
Yeah, well, they can bring back Captain America. They can do whatever they want. It's a comic book at the end of the day, you know.
Absolutely.
We had time travel for crying out loud in Endgame, so anything's possible. But I don't see it likely for a little while anyway. I think we're going to have to establish a lot of these characters, in phase 4. And I think we will. You know, I don't think anyone's really in that much of a rush to see another Avengers film too soon.
No.
You know, I think it's the time is now to introduce the new characters that we're looking forward to seeing and take it from there. See how they're received. But James Gunn, John, when you look back at his work on that first Guardians film, it was something different, you know, and it shows a man's talents and how he handled that. But you're right, I don't think he is suited to an Avengers movie. I don't think he's that interested in a big ensemble of characters. Yeah, he prefers the sort of close-knit sort of 5 or 6 characters, and that's enough. And they're all working together, and they spend a lot of time together as well.
Yeah.
And the humour as well. You can't forget the humour. It was such a contrast to previous MCU films, which you had the Iron Man trilogy. It was Tony Stark's very sarcastic, you know, and he knows how to deliver some funny lines and stuff like that, and bouncing off the Jon Favreau character. But there's something different. This is a different level of humour, and this is the humour that some people do talk about, that they say, oh, that's so Marvel humour, you know, that doesn't fit in this, like Star Wars, etc. You know, I don't like when people say that, because Marvel humour is actually very good, you know, and it's well suited. You know, James Gunn introduced that sort of level of humour, which opened up the doors to the likes of obviously Volume 2. Yeah, exactly. You know, and Ragnarok. Yeah, so you know, I think they've got similar humour. You know, in both of them. You know, they're very, yeah. So you can understand that. So him coming in 2014, I think it was, you know, and doing that showed the man's confidence in his own abilities to take that on. Because if Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 didn't work, I think the MCU would have been in very much trouble at that point, you know.
Because it's a kind of foreshadowing where they're going with this more cosmic side of things. They are going to be a big part of it, I'm absolutely sure. Before being in there, he's negotiated a
his character changed because it's the Dark World, John. It's not my favourite film or anything like that, but there was something about Ragnarok that changed the character for Thor for the better, because I was getting bored of the character. I liked the first Thor movie. The second one for me was just too dark. It was taking itself too serious, and there's something about, and I give full credit to, and Taika Waititi is a talented man, but if it wasn't for James Gunn opening those doors, who knows what would have happened.
Stephen, I think you're right. I don't think he's interested purely because he is a more story-driven, character-driven sort of director. The Guardians each have their own distinct personalities. They're very, very cool characters. There's heartache in there, there's tragedy in there, there's laughs, and when you think about it, every one of them are broken.
Yeah.
The Drax has lost his family. Rocket Raccoon's got almost Wolverine past. He's trying to piece together his past.
Yeah.
Groot's almost obviously been orphaned, and Rocket Raccoon's his sort of surrogate father.
Yeah.
Peter Quill's lost his mother. That's the heartbreak. Nebula, Gamora, sorry.
Yeah.
Gamora's
both of them.
Yeah. That sort of heartbreak with Thanos, and she's trying to fit in, and she's a little bit discombobulated.
And the lady with antennas.
Yeah, she's
yeah.
She's a character. We Walsh nearly took Thanos down with that sort of mind bending thing.
Yeah.
But they're all sort of hot characters, and he's dived in it. And I think he says in the past that it's almost like a manifestation of his life. This story, these characters are like him.
Yeah.
It's sort of a redemptive arc. So I love what he's doing just now. I don't really want to see him doing ensemble pieces. I'd rather they leave that to maybe people like the Russos and whatnot. They can do their own unique thing with that. I like him doing his more character-driven side of things. I don't want to see him doing it. But look, I agree with you as well about the humour. I love the man's humour. I just want to see that ripping out of Volume 3. I've lost the plot. Volume 3. Volume 3.
That's the one, John.
Yeah, hopefully 4.
Listen, we're going to finish off the show with our last topic. It was actually something we were talking about not that long ago. The consequence of obviously a backlog of films. How that's going to affect the Academy Awards. Well, on Screen Rant, they've got an article that's Oscars 2021 ceremony officially delayed until April. Now that means that obviously the eligibility of the films will be extended. Yeah, I know, especially this time of night. So, what's your take on this, John? Because it is going to be, I think it's like 8 weeks or something like that of an extension, which it's not really going to have much of a change. I think filmmakers, and obviously studios would have been more concerned if the qualifying period wasn't extended. But need not worry now because 8 weeks is probably, I think it's right. I think it's a good time. And I think it allows more films to be released later on in the year without having to worry about not being qualified for the Academy Award.
It's not without precedent either, Steve. Yeah. Another article I read says that they have been delayed on 3 other occasions. I think there was heavy flooding in one, perhaps in the 50s in LA. Maybe I think it was the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King. Was another cause of delay in the 60s, and I can't recall what the other one was, but it's happened in 3 other occasions. I think this perhaps is the longest period of delaying the actual ceremony, but I think it's necessary, Steve. As you did say, with the uncertainty over this virus, how it's going to play out, will there be multiple waves? You just can't really settle into perhaps that February period because it may be still too close to the bone in terms of infection rates and whatnot. So I think it's the correct thing. And purely for eligibility, as you did say, all these different movies that are coming out, blockbuster, tentpole sort of summer releases coming out, which would usually be earlier in the year, they're going to be shifted into the end of the year. Then you have the sort of Oscar baiting award period. I can't recall what the hell it is. The award period. There's a terminology here. My brain's going blank. It's too late. It's sort of between October, I think, through to January, with these movies vying for awards. They start releasing in that sort of part of the year. If they're fighting it out and maybe reduced capacity theatres with big blockbuster movies, they're not going to get eyeballs on them. It's not going to be great for box office takes and whatnot. It will not be good for the actual Oscars as well. So if they delay it another 8 weeks, it gives more breathing room for your likes of your Meryl Streep movies and Tom Hanks movies to come out along with the big blockbuster Denis Villeneuve of June movies and Christopher Nolan Tenet movies. Yeah. It's going to be better for film. More fans will be able to go and watch the movies. They'll get more eyeballs, there'll be more appreciation. It'll give the Academy members time to watch the screeners and whatnot. So I feel it's the right decision on just about every level.
You think it's been pressure?
I think it probably has, yeah, from directors. Because they've had to change the guidelines and the eligibility stuff already with streaming movies allowed. You don't have to run in theatres for 2 weeks in LA and New York. They've already changed it up. It's not enough though. I think they have been pressurised, and that's why we've now got this happening. It's no surprise. We spoke about it, as you did say. There was talk it was going to be cancelled completely. You can't cancel the Oscars. You can't, even if it's virtual. You need to recognise the best performances in a calendar year. It's just not acceptable. You need to have it. It's the sort of, I've cancelled the Champions League, but it's like the World Cup of films, events. Yeah, World Cup. We'll go with that. European Champions. Yes, they're the BAFTAs. The European Championships are the BAFTAs. But Steve, I'm not got much more to add. I don't know if you've got much more to add to that. What's going to round up the show? What's your thoughts on the 5 pods? I want to say the new Spike Lee movie. Is that a movie for now? What's your thoughts on the other stuff? Wonder Woman being delayed, James Gunn saying I'm not directing an Avengers movie, and do the Oscars 2020 being delayed by 8 weeks into April next year. If you have anything to say about any of those topics, you can comment below and let us know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section. I've changed the overlay this time, so I'll be able to end the show a little bit more better. A little bit more better. I don't know what that means. Than the last effort. If you have anything to say, you can comment below. You can like the video if you enjoyed it, and you can subscribe to the channel if you want to see more rambling like this. And if you do, then you'll see us again tomorrow for another episode of MB Movie News Live.